I think everyone's quit on us.
Might call you the queen of consistency.
I'm like, if it's in my calendar, then
Um, yep,
yeah.
yep. Now I ran out and I'm like, oh crap, it's 9 o'clock.
I know. And I just texted you. I'm like, are we still having the meeting?
Yeah, we are just you and I though.
Apparently,
But that's the way it
which
goes sometimes. So
that's fine.
let's talk about your assumables or assumables as a whole.
Okay, well, first, before we actually get into that, since nobody else is here, so I have this investor who wants an invest. He currently has a rental duplex in Carmichael that he has to 1031 exchange um, into something greater, but he wants a 10% annual return on rents. I'm like, have you ever seen that? Are you currently seeing that? Because I
So
haven't.
there is a way to get that done. It isn't with assumable because you'd have to ultimately find a VA loan that is assumable that the veteran's willing to leave behind their eligibility, right?
Right.
So that would be the only way to buy an assumable that does it. But um, Pace Morby talks about co-living.
Okay, so that's what I was going to suggest to him is the whole co-living situation because I mean, just doing regular rentals is not going to get you a 10% return.
Really not. And
It's just
so
not.
why does he have that stuck in his head that he wants a 10% return?
Well, that's what I just texted and asked him. I'm like, are you seeing that? Because I personally have not seen that.
Would agree.
So, are you seeing something that I'm not seeing? And then what's more important to you, a 10% annual return or like what your net annual return is?
Yep.
Because,
So 10% annual return is great, but you're right. If you have huge expenses, the other thing would be is if he's doing a 1031 exchange, it's probably because he's depreciated that asset as far out as he can go. And
right.
he's now getting ready to 1031, which then allows him to reset and start his depreciation again. So if he gets a 6% cap rate or something along those lines, which is probably fairly accurate for the market, and he gets to start his depreciation again, he may get there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I
So
just wanted to make sure I wasn't like losing my damn mind because Matthew and I get like 7.5% return on our rental property in Rockland. And that's like people are like blown away that we get that much.
yeah, I
So
mean, you could ultimately look at going to like a fourplex or a multi-unit, go to something bigger,
yes. But
and then you
even
got a better
then,
chance of return.
it would still be really pushing it because in order for him to afford to get into the multi-unit, like a quadplex or something like that, he'd have to spend double what he's looking at. And
Likely.
then in which case, okay, now you only have 4 units, but you still probably can't get more than 2 grand for each unit, which is only 8 grand, which if you're spending $1 million still isn't 10%.
Yeah, most likely. So
So
pad split co-living is probably the way to go. Barry Mathis and I are actually starting a group right now that is going to look at co-living as a whole. And so we're looking at single families, we're looking at duplexes, we're looking at multi-unit to see, okay, what's the cost allocation? What kind of return is it going to be? And it's going to be greater than 10%. But you got to realize it's the management fees and the just the management as a whole is considerably more. But we're looking at it from a standpoint of doing seniors. So
right,
in co-living, most people are 4, 5, 6 months. You got construction workers that come in. I'm doing a project, I'm doing a job. You got traveling nurses, you got different people like that. And then
right,
you have some other folks that are like, hey, listen, I'm blue collar, I'm, high school education, and I'm doing what I can to be out on my own because I have nowhere
right.
else to go. And so I'll take the $1,000 a month and I'll live in a room and get all my utilities paid. Um, but when you get to massive multi-unit or massive co-living, you got to look at the turnover. So that's why we're looking at seniors. And you
Yeah,
can look at something like veterans that says, hey, these people are not going to move and leave and transfer out as much. So that lowers your costs,
right.
but then you're getting a much better return. And so Barry and I are actually putting that together. We're going to do, I think, a live session here in the office and kind of talk about it. We're going to build the plan first. We have a property right now that we're looking at that has a great opportunity in it. So
Okay.
we're looking at building it out, and then we'll come back and be like, hey, here's what we did. Here's how we did it. Anybody looking to invest, we're going to, do some limited partnership. For those that are interested, they're like, hey, I got 50 grand or I got 25 grand and I
Yeah.
can't really do anything with it. Well, I can buy into, a 5% equity position in this and get an 8% return on my 25 grand.
Right.
So
That's pretty smart. I like that idea.
yeah, so we're doing all the pieces right now. It'll still be 30 days out before we even put together the session. But yeah, I mean, I've got
Okay.
like 8 or 10 investors who I've reached out to, friends and family, going, hey, have you guys heard about this? Do you interested? And they're like, yeah, if I can put in 25 to 50 grand, buy into a portion of it, and you guys have already, solidified the properties and done all the pieces, then
Done all the work. Yeah.
yeah. So that's the
So,
plan.
so all the work that you're going to put into it is basically, I mean, are you just going to take an existing house that say has 4 bedrooms and just turn each bedroom into its own little mini unit with like a mini fridge and, furnished and stuff like that? And then
Yes.
the
So
rest of the house will just be like shared space?
yeah. So if you look at like pad split, co-living, watch Pace Morby, I watched 5 different sessions he did this weekend on co-living. And it is, buying a single story Rambler ranch, whatever, that's got separate living, separate family, a dining space. And what you do is you take and you go, you got to find something that's got 3 baths and you got to get to
Oh,
about,
okay. It has to have 3 baths.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if it has two, you have to have the ability to convert and or make a third bathroom.
Okay.
Pace Morby says he does it 8-2 ratio, 8 bedroom, 2 bath. I think
That's
4
rough.
people sharing one bathroom is kind of tough.
That is tough. Unless the bathrooms are good size.
Well, it's even that, it's just everybody's waking up to go to work in the morning and everybody needs to take a shower at the same time. It's like, okay, that's tough.
That's true.
So we
Yeah.
believe 8-3 is a better ratio because then you're really at like 2 or 3 to 1 versus 4 to 1.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
So,
good.
so if you're doing a 4 bedroom, are you putting 2 people in each room?
No, 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 no,
Oh, okay.
no, no. We
So you
never
you're
ever
gonna have
do
like an
shared
eight
space.
bedroom house.
Yeah. So yeah,
Got it.
you would look at a living space that's got like a 16 by 14 family room, living room, and you would cut that into 2 bedrooms. So you got 2 bedrooms there. You have a four
Okay.
bedroom house, and then you take the dining room space and make that into a room. So now you're at 7, and then you've got 3 baths. And then you could either go and build in the garage with a mini split system. But yes, I agree with you. A mini fridge in each one, a microwave in each one. Obviously, the kitchen area is common. Then you have a big family space, open space, whatever that's a common area. And then you're looking at, and he rents them by week. And here's the thing, they're actually not considered rentals. What they do is they create um, like a gym membership. I mean, it's the best way for me to put it. You get a membership to the corporation and you go, hey, listen, I'm here for a week, I'm here for a month, I'm here for whatever. And it's like, well, you're buying a membership to this thing. That way, if you're not the right fit, if you're breaking the rules, whatever, I can remove you from it. And it's easier to get you out because you're not a tenant in my property.
Oh,
Also gets you around a lot of the regulations, like, hey, you're not allowed to have 8 people living in a house. Okay, well, we're not having 8 people or 8 renters, tenants. You don't have that. You get around it from different ways. So
interesting.
yeah, and there are people
Okay.
doing it in California, so I know it can be done.
Yeah.
And we're just having some discussions with people asking around. There's somebody that Barry found that's got a couple here, and like I said, we looked at it from a standpoint of seniors. So there's a lady I'm working with in
Seniors or veterans.
Sacramento
Yeah.
that had reached out to me and said, hey, I have this, desire or need. We have seniors that just, they only make $1,200 a month. We are trying to find something that's $800 a month. And it's like, okay, well, that's going to be in North Highlands or North Sac. I mean, we're not going to put you in on, South Avenue probably or Grant or Grand, but we're going to put you into a little bit different of an area. And the biggest thing for those a lot of times is parking. But for seniors, they're like, hey, I don't
They don't
drive.
need much.
But if I can get to transit and then this other company, it's called, let me see what the deal's called here. Uh, My phone is just slow as all get out. I got a black screen. I mean, this is terrible. Just trying to find my contacts.
Gotta love technology.
I know. Agency on Aging for
Agents,
seniors.
agency
On
on age.
Aging Area 4 for seniors. That's what she is. And I have a lady who is a senior. She's 80, and she bought this house, and she bought it because she was taking care of her grandchild, and she got a lot of money because the grandchild was special needs. Well, the grandchild passed away, and now she has this house, and her payment is whatever it is, X dollars. And she's like, I have two college age granddaughters that live with me. The mom has passed, the special needs granddaughter passed. And she's like, my income does not support this household. My granddaughters are working, whatever jobs they're doing to try and help pay the bills, but
Right.
we can't afford to live in this house. And so I had reached out to a couple people, and I got to this lady, Gail. And so she will place another senior. So she has males, females, 50, 60, 80, whatever the, age groups are. And it's like, okay, I have this person, they can afford to pay $800 a month. And for my lady, it's like, well, if I could put someone in your house, $800 a month. She's like, well, I wouldn't have to go back to work. She's 83 and she's out looking for a job.
Oh, that sucks, that poor baby. Oh my
Exactly.
gosh.
So if I go to her and say, well, I can put someone in your house, or what if I could go to her and say, hey, your granddaughters are, college age, they're just about to graduate, they're going to be moving out and moving on to whatever it looks like for them. What if I could help you sell your house and then put you into an area that's got 6 other seniors where you guys have some community and you have some people that you can gel with and
Yeah,
be with. And now your payment's 1,000 or 1,200 a month. That's considerably more than she could, or more within reason for her to afford than her trying to
yeah,
get a 1 bedroom apartment somewhere.
totally.
So
That's so interesting. Okay, so then what are your thoughts on because we've got the senior option, we've got the veterans option. What about like properties around colleges?
so this is something that's been done in colleges forever
That's what I was
because
thinking.
you get this. So I had friends when we were in our 20s. It was a 6 bedroom house out in Santa Clara. They all went to San Jose State. And so we would go hang out there. I mean, it was a pool, 6 bedrooms. I mean, whatever they paid, but we would all hang out there. It was on Bub Street, Bubb, and we called the Bub House. So we were at the Bub House all the time, hanging out with our friends. And you're right, near colleges. The only thing about colleges is you got to think about the demographic that you have.
Right?
I mean, we were fairly good. I mean, we didn't trash the house and break anything for the most part. But in a college student dorm, room, not dorm room, but you're gonna have, I'm gonna have parties, we're gonna have friends over. You're probably gonna have more wear and tear.
Damage, yeah.
And those folks are gonna also rotate. So, hey, 4 are moving out, 2 are moving out. It's summertime, only 2 are staying here. Well, do you charge them for the full year and make them pay even though they're gone?
Well,
You do
I
it
think
month to
you
month.
could charge more per month to make up for the 3 month loss.
You're right. And you could do that. I could agree. And then you're
Because
like,
a
hey,
lot of times the parents are paying for it.
and I would agree with that. And you could easily say, well, I'm only renting it for 8, 9 months that the kids are here. And then in the summertime, when I've already charged the extra, I know that I might have vacancy. I get a couple of guys that want to come in for summer school and they're only here for 2 months. And yeah, I just need a crash place to stay, or
Yep.
construction workers or a traveling nurse or something that can kind of help fill those voids. Yes.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. And if you've already charged extra for the year,
You're in
if
positive.
there is any damage, you can take the 3 months to fix it up.
True. Very, very true. So, hey, I got to replace the carpets. I got to, fix holes in the walls, fix
Right.
plumbing, whatever. Yeah, I get it. I just think the co-living space is going to be more consistent. And the
I think
gentleman he spoke to's got 3 of them in Phoenix, and he's like, I'm making $1,500 a property,
positive cash flow.
positive cash flow, net
And how many units per property?
8.
8 units per property.
Yeah, 8 doors or 8 rooms per unit, and he's got 3 bathrooms. He doesn't do garage conversions. He's like, I make it all fit within the footprint of the house.
The original footprint, not counting the garage.
Yeah, and then
So
we've
that
got
means that the house has to have a family room and a living room so that you can convert one of them into 2 bedrooms.
yeah, so 2000s built home that have the great room concept, probably not your best fit. But
Yeah.
70s and 80s ranches that have separate family and living and separate
Yes.
dining, you can put up some walls, throw some doors in, and make those work.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some opportunity there.
Okay.
Yep, for sure. And it's going to come down to, does he want to manage that? And if he doesn't want to manage it, can you find a property manager that will do that? And we've
That was
been
going to
calling
be my
around.
next question is what kind of a property management company manages these types of properties?
So there isn't any in Sacramento that we have found yet.
Uh,
Barry is designing his marketing strategy right now.
I was just going to say, if there's a need,
Exactly.
figure out how to fill the
100%, right?
need.
Yeah. So pad split co-living is not in Sacramento. They're not actually in California yet. They're doing a couple tests. They're in about 12 markets that I've seen. And it's like, man, that's a great opportunity
Such a great
to build
opportunity.
something here locally. It's
Yeah.
what does that look like?
Yep.
Is how much more time intensive? What does your management fee need to be? 6 to 8% now. Do you bump it to 10? Do you bump it to 12? How do you manage all the bills? Those are things that we've got to look at and
Yeah.
design as part of your business plan. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Interesting.
So your guy that you've met in Carmichael, right? You said he's selling. How did you meet him?
Open house.
Open house. Okay. So he came into a single family. It just happened to be, I'm looking around at what's going on here.
Yeah, he's
Finding,
he's hoping to, move out of the Carmichael area where it's kind of, lower quality of housing into Placer County where the houses are nicer. But I'm like, okay, yeah, the houses are nicer, but that's not going to get you any more rent.
yeah, and I would have to agree with you. The rent's gonna be a little bit high, but it's proportionate to what the values are.
Exactly.
The biggest benefit in being in Placer County is I think you're going to have a higher uptick in overall appreciation value.
Right.
So that's equity position built in. And yes, probably a little higher level of tenant and a little more
Yes.
stable job, things of that nature. But
Yes.
realistically, you're not going to recognize the gain until it's sale time.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a conversation that I have to have with him because I'm like, okay, what's more important to you for you to be able to say that you're making a 10% return annually on your investment or more money in your pocket? Like, what's more important?
You're right. And some people have a vision for one thing and they read a book, heard a seminar,
Yeah.
whatever. And it's like, this is the term or this is the thing I want. And it's like, well, if you look at the grand scale, bigger picture, this is
Yeah.
where us as agents come in and offer education, offer value, is look at the overall picture is
Right.
yes, your monthly is going to be net the same, but the value long term is X, less turnover,
Right.
higher appreciation, things of that
I
nature.
mean, if you're really a stickler and you want that 10%, then honestly, like he'll have to go outside of California to
So
get
that's what I
it.
was going to say. Yeah, look at a
So,
different area. Can
yeah.
you get up to Chico? Can you go to Fresno? Can you go to Texas? Can you go to Phoenix? Wherever.
Yeah, I mean, it would literally he'd have to go somewhere where he can buy a multi-unit property for like five to $600,000.
Yeah,
That's the only way he could do it.
I would agree, 100%.
So,
Yep.
anyways, all right, so I totally like took over the conversation. Sorry about
So it's
that.
just the two of us, so I won't. I mean, I'm recording it, but I'll put it out there as a investor talk versus
Yeah,
Zoom, which we originally were on. So
yeah,
I mean, I told you that that property I had in Stockton, in my opinion, that was like greatest deal.
such a good deal.
Yeah.
Such a good deal. If it was still available, I was gonna push him over there and be like, "Hey, go take a look at this. I know it's Stockton, but
Yep. So there is other properties in Stockton that are in that same area that have those triplexes, but
okay."
they're not assumable. So the rate's going to be a
Mhm.
little higher.
Yeah,
And so you're not going to be at 1,500 a month positive cash flow. You might be at 1,000. And
yeah,
depending on what his down payment is. Is his down
yeah,
payment, 200 grand? Is he 1031 into that? So actually, let's take
yeah.
a peek. I'm going to share my screen. See if we can find something. Can you see?
Yep.
So let's go standard search. I mean, has you looked at downtown at all? I'm gonna look at
I have not looked at downtown for him yet because he was very specific about wanting Placer County. So that's as far as I got. And then that's when he's like, I need a 10% return. And I was like, okay.
there's
Okay.
92 properties between Sac, Placer, and San Joaquin. So he's, I mean, obviously you're not looking at stuff that's $2 million, but there are some
Yeah.
multi-units, and I've looked at a couple of these. You can get standard financing on this as a 5 or 6 plex right here. And some of these are already broken up um, into co-living.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like so this one's 6 units, 3,000 square feet at 975. And then you got to
Now
look at what the
see,
rents are.
yeah, does it say? Because sometimes they just don't say.
So it says 1145 and it's yeah, see 6 bedrooms, 6 baths.
So
So this
each one
is
is a
broken
1-1.
down. Yeah, this is already broken down. So each one's about 500 square feet and
Okay.
6 are leasable, 6 are leased, 6 are on month to month. So I mean, if you're $1,000 a piece, is that $6,000?
$6,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still not 10%.
Yeah, but it depends on what his 1031 is. I mean, if he's putting 400 grand down
Well, yeah, that's true.
and his loan is going to be, 6% on, and he can do a DSCR loan, so you don't have to worry about qualifying and bringing in credit scores and all those things.
Yep.
I mean, those are the things you got to look at. And
Yeah.
for an investor like this or an educated person, be able to go in and go, okay, so you got to call this agent, ask questions, engage, find out this guy's Colliers International, and be
Oh,
like,
is that
listen,
Matt Sorrow? Oh, I love that guy. He's great.
okay, I've never dealt with him, but I've seen his name several times. But it's one of
He's
those
a good
things.
guy.
Can we get 6 beds at 1,000 a pop? And he looks like here, actually, they're 1175,
11:45, I think. Yeah.
745. So six, you're almost 7 grand.
Yeah.
So
But
seven
that's
grand.
interesting because it says five or more. Oh, 5 or more units. That's the
Yeah.
subtype.
So that's what
Okay,
it
got
does.
it.
It goes 1 to 4 and
Okay,
then it goes 5 or more.
got it.
So this is a
Okay.
4 unit. I've looked at that one. This one's 2 million. That's probably not going to make sense. 2 million.
Yeah.
Uh, but this is 749 and it's a triplex.
Okay.
So you can look at something like this and go, okay,
1182.
34, 45. It's only about 4,500. So it may
Yeah.
not be enough.
See, that just makes me wonder. I mean, maybe rents are lower in downtown. I would think that they would be higher than Placer County, but maybe not.
Well, you got to look at the demographic you're dealing with, and you have to look at overall what this is. So
Yeah.
some of these people are slumlords and are not raising rents because they're not fixing up the properties. Okay,
Yeah.
this is knob and tube wiring. This is old, galvanized pipes. Have they
Yeah.
not updated? So what am I dealing with? And
Yeah,
so
exactly.
those are the pieces you've got to consider.
Okay.
Um, did I look at this one? This is a triplex. It was kind of interesting. It's only 800,000.
Huh.
Um, yeah, it's about 4,000 a month, 4,200, 4,400. Maybe not enough.
Yeah.
I looked at this one. This is 6 or 8 units, I'm pretty sure, but it's not, it's 8 units,
8 units. Yeah.
1.3. But
Okay.
it's like, okay, are these 8 2 bedrooms or are they 8 1 bedrooms? So let's look at that.
It doesn't even give you any info.
12 months, let's see, we'll get maybe a little further down, right? It doesn't give enough detail on it.
No,
So I'd call this
that's the kind of
agent,
agent that drives me crazy.
but yeah, I mean, okay, so one building, 8 units. Yeah, it doesn't give enough detail. Cap rate's 5.9, so you're close to 6. Gross rentable is 11.52. Management expenses is 4,500. Insurance. He does have some of the breakdown here, but gross
Yeah.
scheduled income is 112, so that's roughly about 9,000 a month.
Okay. And then you subtract out everything else.
Yeah, so you're about 9,000 a month, and maybe at 1.3 that doesn't make sense, but at 1.1 it does.
Yeah.
Then it starts to come down to how do we take care of, the numbers.
Yeah,
Got to
exactly.
be educated yourself, and then you got to be able to offer, something else to your folks.
I'm like, your passcode is Smeagol.
Meek Gar, it's Sacramento Meek Gary.
Oh, did you get to change that to what you wanted it to be?
No, it's always the same. It starts with an S if you join Sacramento. It's a P if you join Placer. It's an E if you join El Dorado.
Yeah, I'm
The
a P.
breakdown. So yeah,
Plarsale.
yeah. I don't know why my MLS reset, but we'll get our search again. Search.
How did you make it so that your screen doesn't have so much wasted space at the top like mine has?
Up here?
Yeah,
I don't know.
like the whole blue and gray, like dark gray section in mine is like it's like this wide. It wastes almost half the screen. It's so frustrating.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to like call Melissa or something and be like, dude, fix my screen.
So yeah, this is 8 units again,
Okay.
which it's 1.6. So doesn't seem like this is a better deal. Well, so these are two ones. So they're getting 1,600. So think about it.
Okay.
From a co-living standpoint,
Mm.
you can make these into two ones. This is what street is it on? It's on Lampasas. Not the greatest area, but like I said, for seniors, if you could put a bunch of seniors in here and go, okay, now I've just changed this from 1,600 a month to 2,000 a month per unit because I give you $1,000 per room. So
Yep.
I'm sharing one room with one person, not sharing a room, but you're sharing a unit. And I've
Right.
got Joe and Mary, Bob and Steve, whoever. And so now I've got these up to 2,000 a month. Now I'm
Yep.
at 16,000 a year coming in, or 16,000 a month
A
coming in.
month. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that makes more sense. You got to look at still, you got utilities, you've got internet, Wi-Fi, different things you're going to add in. You got to
Yep.
clean and whatever. But it's a possibility. I mean, it's something that's interesting to go. Does that
Yeah.
make sense to look at that property? Maybe based
Yeah.
on area, it doesn't make a whole bunch of sense, but
Okay.
let's look
Yeah,
at
I just wish it was in a better area.
yeah. So this
Okay,
is
here's
two
another 8
fourplexes together. It's on Lampasas also 1.6, and it's going to be the same thing you're going to deal with. Yeah, they're
Yep.
2 bedrooms, so maybe not the same thing. What's this thing?
5 units.
5 unit apartment building for 1,050,000. And it's like, does that make sense? Can you break that up into something different to make it more, accessible for a
Yeah.
group of
Are they
people?
all, oh, they're 1 bedrooms. Yeah.
So 1 bedrooms.
Oh, here's
That's it.
eight
Eight
units.
unit. But this is downtown, so much better area. Eight
Much
units
better.
for 1,050,000.
Yep.
And that's your guy Matthew Sorrow again. What the heck is that? So 12 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms,
Okay.
3,800 square
So
feet.
and it's an 8 unit. So there's a couple 2 bedrooms and probably a couple 1 bedrooms.
Yeah. This might be designed. Um,
I'm almost wondering if they've already made this into a co-living space.
it might be. It actually
Yeah.
might be. So you gotta look at this and go, hey, can I up the rents? Can I up the property a little bit and make it a little different? So if I
So
can change this from
8,300 is what they're getting for rent.
yeah, so if I can change this 8 leasable to 12 leasable, excuse me, and get that up to 12 grand a month, my increase is a better return.
Yeah.
So when you go, hey, I'm going to add utilities in, and I'm going to add a couple of these things to make it more feasible to a community type group.
So on that note, with like utilities and internet and all of that, how do you, I guess you're not really able to separate it by room, so that's why it's like all included. You just
It's
pay for the
all included,
house.
correct? Yeah. And so Pace talks about this. They bring in a cleaner. He's once a week. His other guy was twice a month. And he's like, all common areas and all bathrooms are cleaned.
Okay.
If people have their room straightened up and they want me to do a quick vacuum, we'll go through and vacuum for them. But we know we might dust the blinds or dust maybe a ceiling fan or something like that.
Okay.
Other than that, we don't go in and clean each individual room. We clean the common areas.
That makes sense.
I was like, okay, that makes total sense.
Totally. Yep.
So here's another one, 5 or more units.
7 units. Okay.
So 7 units. And it's like, okay, what does that look like? What do those 7 units look like? What's the breakdown of them? So
Okay,
it looks
here we
like one
go.
ones, but they're getting 1,400 for a 1-1. That's actually pretty amazing.
That's pretty good for a 1-1. And there's 7 of them.
Yeah, but that's a full unit by itself. So that brings you up to 10 grand,
Yeah. If you
but
put two people in each room.
is it, 10 grand enough at that 1.2?
Yeah.
So those are, like I said, these are just gonna come down to numbers and look at what can we move, adjust, and change
Right.
to make this bigger. So this is 8 units, 3,600 square feet. Might be a good breakdown. 1.5, I mean, in my opinion, that's a little bit high. I think you gotta get closer to 1.2.
Yeah. And 700. Oh, that's the square footage. It doesn't have rent information.
So these are ones you gotta ask questions about. You gotta
Yeah.
call it. It's like, hey, here's what we're doing. Do you guys have it set up? Are the individual units? Are they co-living? How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? How many kitchens?
Yeah.
Like, hey, we have 8 kitchens here. It's okay. Well, can I
That's,
rearrange some of the rooms and kitchens and be like, let's change this to 4 kitchens, in here and do some more common space,
yeah.
3 kitchens or do something else. So there's lots of different opportunities. 2.4, it's probably going to be probably large. It's probably not going to work.
12 units.
Yeah, 12 units for 2.4, it's 200 grand a door. Not really. This is 4 cottages. I've looked at this one.
Oh,
4 individual little cottages,
super cute.
and they're 2 bedroom, 1 bath. So could you rent these at or they're all 1 bedroom. My bad.
Oh,
So yeah, so like this doesn't
there's
make
one
sense.
2 bedroom.
Yeah, that was okay. Yeah, so this doesn't make sense to try and break this down because they're only 1-1s and they're only
Not
500
unless
square
you
feet.
raise the rents significantly.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. You got to walk through these and look at these and look at options. Like, hey, and it's all about highest and best use. So this is a
Yeah.
triplex. It's got commercial downstairs. I wouldn't touch that one. Uh, it's, I like to look at some of these crazier ones. Only 5 units. So they got to be big units, 1,000
They
square
must be. Holy cow. Okay, 8 bedrooms. So
feet.
2 bedrooms. 1,500. Hmm.
Yeah, so it's a weird breakdown. I'd have to call and be like, all right, I need to understand how you have this broken down.
Yeah.
So uh, this is an interesting one. This is 3 units. So it's a triplex, but they're each
Okay.
individual units, but they are all on one street
Oh,
and they're all
interesting.
vacant. So it's like, hey, could you go in and look at how to manipulate this and convert it to something else? And they still get sense of community, but I can kind of go back to my own place and kind of be by myself, or I
That's so
can come out
interesting.
and be a little bit
There's
of
one,
community.
six. There are 9 bedrooms in
Yep.
that place. Interesting.
So 3 3 1s. And it's like, well, it's this and it's that. If you break it all down and go, okay, well, if you get 3 1s, you go, hey, I got 3 people per unit. If it was a 3-1, I'm getting 2,000 a month, 1,800 a month. But if it's 3-1, I can get 800. So that gets me up to 2,400 a month. So I'm a $600 increase.
Yep.
Um, you know, can I maybe even get them up to 900 a month? Because it includes utilities and Wi-Fi and everything else.
Right.
So now you're at 2,700. Now you're at 9,000 roughly per month for 900 grand.
Yeah.
That might be closer to your 10% return.
Interesting.
So,
Okay.
like I said, there's some great stuff out there.
Yeah.
All about looking at these and realizing what can I do? How can I break this down? This one's
Well,
interesting. It's a big triplex, and then they put in a modular in the back.
oh, interesting.
Yep. I have a client looking at this one right here. This is she's got about 400 grand down, 5 units, half acre, beautiful. They're two ones, and it cash flows because she's putting down 300 grand because they're two ones in a beautiful little setting at 1,800 to 2,000 a month.
Yeah.
Got 10
Where
grand a month. So
where is that in Sac?
Carmichael.
Oh, it's in Carmichael. Oh, is this the one at the back end of the street? Oh, this is on Norris. I
Oh, it's
didn't.
Norris. Okay, so I guess it's not quite Carmichael.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, it's one thing I'm looking at. And obviously 1,375 doesn't work for us. We're looking at, 1,225. So, but we've looked at different things and it's like, all right, can we do one fourplex, two fourplexes, a five, a six, an eight?
Yeah.
And for her, she's like, no, I don't want to change everything into multi-door because there's extra costs and things like that. But if I could keep it where it is, just raise the rates up and, get them to current rental value, what do I look like on that? And then what's her return? So,
Yeah. There's one in Carmichael, 7 bedrooms. It's 2 units,
okay.
7 bedrooms, and I think there's 3 bathrooms.
Okay.
So, and it's like 800,000, 805, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty close.
So, well, yeah. So that's why I was like, okay, well, if you turn that into a co-living space, then if it's doable, that would totally work.
Yeah. So like this is 6 units right now, and it's what Azusa. So it's 1.3. In my opinion, that's too high because even at 6 units, you can't get enough income there.
Uh-uh.
Let's see, any of these two ones, no, five. So this is a 5 bedroom.
Hmm.
Number of units, at least six. So I know this agent, Santos Colejas. I've dealt with him in the past, but I might call him and ask about that one. This is another one. There's like 3 or 4 units on like almost an acre, or yeah, almost an acre.
Wow.
And it's like, man, you can do this something with this 7 units total, one parcel, six two ones, and one bed, two bath, the
Wow.
family. And I'm like, it's 138. I'm like, we get it for 12125. I mean, the income was like 10 grand a month.
Does it even say?
Yeah, I saw
Or
it.
did you just ask him?
No, I saw it somewhere at least, or maybe I just kind of estimated the numbers myself.
Yeah, because there's no numbers on there.
Yeah, so maybe I
Interesting.
kind of estimated it myself. I was like, hey, here's what I would need. And maybe that's what it was. Maybe I figured, what do we need to make in order for this to make money for her to make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I was just going through it, and it's, interesting. Here's another one. Three houses. Oh no, this is, yeah, three houses are four
Boy.
units,
Yep.
but it's only 800 grand, half
Yeah,
acre.
that's on almost a half acre.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's on Rivera, which is not the greatest area, but like I think this is a duplex, or maybe it's 4 units. I can't remember exactly how it's worked. Multifamily, and it's like, man, let's go look at this. Appraised at 825, they're at 799. So, like, hey, your guy, I mean, if he doesn't
Yeah.
mind, I know he wants to get into Roseville, but if he wants 10% return,
Well,
are you
that's the
willing to look
thing.
in
I'm
Sac?
like, what's more important to you?
And that's what you got to
So,
look at.
yeah.
So
Interesting. Okay, so what are these rents that they're getting? 2150, 12, 12, 8. That's the one. Oh, that's interesting that they're getting more for the ones than they are for the 2 1.
yeah, and that's got to be a kind of a weird, it's got to be either a weird floor plan, maybe it's you got to get, maybe it doesn't have great parking or access.
Yeah.
It could be something goofy like that. It could be that this is just a family member living in the house and they've given them a great deal. Maybe it's an
Yeah.
elderly person. Maybe it's someone that hasn't been moved out in 20 years. Maybe this person is also managing the property. I mean, there's other reasons that people get those rates.
Yeah, that's true. Like, look at that. Section 8 tenant, month to month due for rent increase, tenant since 2022. Jeez.
So, and that's one of those things. I mean, I tell people is I'm a huge fan of Section 8. In my opinion, Section 8 is one of the best things out there because it's guaranteed money the first of the month from the county.
That's
80%
true.
is guaranteed. And then you
That's
add in,
true.
the 20% from the tenants, and you're like, okay, that's my gravy money. The 80% from the Section 8 comes in, pays me, that pays my mortgage, my utilities, my blah blah blah. And then when I get the money from the
I'm the tenant.
people,
That's
now I'm like,
extra.
oh, that's my gravy money. And
That's
they're
cool.
also, hey, I don't want to lose my Section 8 eligibility. So we keep up the property in good shape. We're fairly decent people. We are working jobs and doing whatever.
Okay.
So lots of opportunities out there. I think you've got a great buyer and it's a great opportunity because you get to sell it 1031 and then you get to do the buy side.
Right.
So I mean
Right.
that's $1.5 million right there, most likely, if not a little more.
Yeah.
So
So we just have to find, we have to have him narrow down in his mind what it is that would be best for him and his family. So
here's what I would show you. So it's just Roseville. Here is a triplex in Roseville for
I
750.
looked at that one. Yep.
Yeah, for 750. And then here's a fourplex for 900, 949.
Yep.
So I've seen both of those. I mean, I've not seen them personally, but I mean, I know where they are. I've
I
driven
know
by
where they
this
are too.
one.
They're
Yeah.
not the greatest areas. That's why I'm like, meh.
Well, but he has to be in Placer County and he wants that 10% return. These two are probably going to get him closer.
Yeah, that's
This
probably
is this is an interesting one because this is forgot what it's called. It's a historic building.
Oh, okay.
It's right by downtown off of Judah and I think
Oh,
it's
I know right where it is. Yeah.
so it's on Washington, and then the other side is Vernon, and so you
Yes.
get right down the little streets. So it's right by
Yep.
the new post office, and it's been around forever. So
Yeah.
another one that's a possibility that's in that area that gives them an
Hmm.
opportunity. And like I said, just gives you a chance to chat with them and talk to them and say, hey, here's what I found.
So what's the search criteria that you put in here for this search?
So I got
Five
triplex,
or more.
quadruplex, and fiveplex, five or more
Okay.
active.
Active.
And then I did county, Sac, Placer, and San Joaquin.
Okay. Where's San Joaquin?
Stockton.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah, we
thought.
haven't
Okay.
gotten to those ones yet. I was going to see if any of those Stockton properties are available to take a peek at to show you what we wrap up here. So like these are all obviously Sacramento. We kind of cruise through all those. Colfax, there's a couple in Forest Hill. Honestly, there's a house in Forest Hill. It's like a 7 bedroom, 4 bath, and
Really?
it's like 600 grand.
What?
But it's Forest Hill, and it's like, okay, with fire insurance and everything else up there,
Oh
I can
gosh,
rent them
yeah.
for $800 a room. Would it put me at 5,000? And it's like, well, it's $600,000 house. The fire insurance is what's going to affect your total
Yeah.
overall value.
Yep.
So let's
That's
see if we can
true.
find one of these.
All
See.
right, what do you got in Stockton here?
So here's a triplex at 415. And these might not be amazing. Like I said, I'm just trying to, this is not the area I was thinking. It's near a hospital, and then some of the rents. 985. So you're only at 3 grand. But they're all 1 1s, so they're nothing special.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, okay, let's go look at else in stock. This is not the area I was thinking either, but 2450 square feet, built in 79, 2 stories, 2 1s, all of them at 900. Those should definitely be higher. Those should be at
Absolutely.
15 or 1600. So you can bump up $1,500 a month easy right there.
Assuming, of course, that it's vacant.
Well, you just look at those and say, hey, I'm going to come in and do a rehab on these properties, and therefore I'm going to remove you guys. You have the ability to do that.
Okay. How hard is it to get somebody out though? I mean, it seems like
Yep.
California.
You have to show that you're going to significantly rehab the property.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a quadruplex for 1 million, half acre. These are 2 1s. Yeah, these are like 14, 16. Yeah, so those are, and this is a 2 2. So yeah, these are just under. So you're at 6 grand. That's not enough for that property. These the ones. 16 square feet. No, it's not. It's for the ones that I have down there, 700. This might be one of them.
3 units.
each are two ones. Mine were two twos with a 3-2.
Oh,
Yeah, it was really, truly amazing. This stuff. Kelly Drive. So 3 units, triplex. Let's see what we got. Yep, 3-2-2-2-2-2.
okay. Okay.
So your two twos can get up as high as 1,800, and the 3-2 should be 2,000. So
Yeah.
that's 36.
And
Sorry,
that's
18, yeah, 36. That's 5,600 on six grand. That's pretty close.
that's pretty close.
Yeah, and this area is not horrible. Built in
Okay.
the 80s, so you're not dealing with some crazy, old properties that are,
Right.
nothing. But yeah, you can get these, and these are month to month, so you can easily increase all of these across the board, get them going higher. There's another one that's a triplex, yeah, similar. Two one two one two one. So these are them right here. This is going to be another one. Kelly Drive. So 595 999. Let's look at 3-2 at 1,400, 2-2 at 1,400. These can all be raised. You could get another $1,000 at least out of here, and it's at
Yeah.
600 grand.
That would be like, there you go. That's
Here's
getting pretty
here's
close.
another one. And here's the
Okay.
thing
What's
for
going on
you.
with Kelly Drive? Jeez.
So I just think there's a lot of transition going in right now, and it's like, who
Interesting.
does it matter? And for your guy, you could go, hey, listen, bringing in 300 grand. Well, let's put 150 on each of these. Let's buy two, and now I own 6 units, and I'm bringing in 12 grand a month.
Oh, now you're talking.
So those are just different things to, like I
Okay.
said, got to be always thinking through. So north through Alvarado. So now these are 2-1, so I probably wouldn't be there. But yeah, Kelly, think about it. If you're going to go and buy a couple properties on Kelly Drive, there's a couple for sale. You could pick up
Mhm.
two, or I mean, if there was a possible way to pick up the third one, three of them on Kelly Drive, you could ultimately have a huge portion of that. You would be very careful about what you put in there, and you would ultimately bring up the overall
The
value.
value.
Very
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so just something to think about.
Very interesting. I like that.
So,
I like that a
cool.
lot.
Very good.
You have been amazing. You're just a
I'll try and help out.
plethora of wisdom.
I'll try and help out. So hopefully, I'll put this up on the website. People can check it out if they're interested in investing. It'll help them as well.
Okay. Well,
Hopefully,
I'm
no one
so
will steal
glad
all your
that
properties that your client's going to buy.
know, right?
Bye, Lex. Have a great
Nobody
day.
take those.
Take care.
All right, thanks. Bye.